All right, we're gonna jump right into the most important part of this whole onboarding training process, which is quoting the jobs. Now, what comes with that is it's not as simple as let's measure the area, here's a price. We do digital measuring, which gives you a 2D rendering of the area, which then converts to a work order, easier transition from sales to operations, and it's a great presentation for the customer. So you're going to be given a couple products or a couple items when you come on with us. First one is the measuring wheel, which you would use to cross-reference your measurements if it doesn't seem right on the digital one, or if it's a simple area and you simply don't need to use the measure. Which leads me to my next product, which is the measure itself. Now this is going to be your bread and butter. This is going to be basically the main tool that you're using on probably 95% of your appointments. Now, first thing you're going to do is you're going to go into ArcSight on your iPad. This is going to be where all the quotes are going to be developed through this software. We get the measurements, puts them into a 2D rendering, we add the products and convert it to a quote. I'm going to walk you through that whole entire process. Now, please take this part very seriously. This is not something that you're going to benefit from skipping through, as this portion is mandatory. You skip through this, you're going to have no idea how to put a quote together. Okay, sweet. So first we're going to go into ArcSight. Typically it won't populate right away, but mine is because I'm just doing the test client for the office address. But normally you would just type in the project name, pull it up. So say this is the project that you're looking for, test client Turf Bros. You're always going to click new drawing. You're going to go into blank, and then you're going to call it, let's call it backyard oasis. We're going to create drawing. Boom. We have a blank slate. That is going to be the starting point to putting together a quote. Now, first step in this process is you're going to go into ArcSight. You're going to click draw on the right side and measure with Mosier. It's going to automatically bring you to the Mosier app. From there, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click the plus sign at the bottom. Close shape, always going to be clicking close shape. The next part of the project, or of this process, I should say, is we're going to make sure our Mosier is on. So typically what you'll do is you'll spin it. A blue light will start blinking. Got to do a little twist of the wrist. A blue light will start blinking from there. Once the light starts blinking, it's ready to go. Once you click that start button, you should get this solid colored light on the Mosier itself. And as you can see on the screen of my iPad, it's ready to go. So we're going to start measuring the area. We're going to start by choosing a start location. Let's make it a little bit simple for this project. We'll just do a basic rectangle. Obviously, you're going to get out there. They're going to tell you where they want to do the turf. You're going to make a recommendation, what makes the most sense based off drainage, what would look the best, X, Y, and Z. But we'll keep it simple for this. So you're going to find a start point. You're going to want to remember exactly where that start point is, or within a foot of that start point, because you're going to do a whole shape and circle back around. Start right here, keep the tip, the nose, in the same direction the whole time. Not crucial, but very recommended, just so we can keep the measurements it all accurate. So first, choose a start point, place it down, flat, pressure on the top. You're going to hear the clicking. Start walking. Got your area. Stop right here. Probably walk every 10 feet, 15 feet. Stop. Find your next area. Now again, you can do any sort of shape with this. If you're doing like, say, a curve, you're going to want to stop multiple areas. But for this, we're just going to be doing a square, a rectangle, somewhat of a rectangle, as you can see from the shape. So we're going to keep going along. You hear it counting down. When you start hearing it's like, all right, put it down now. So place it down, pressure on the top, boom. Bring it all the way across. Start around here, put it down, done. Now, as you can see, my start and stop point was off by a couple feet. So at the bottom here, there's a start and finish error. You want to keep it at about 1%. At the bottom, it reads 6.7%, but you just got to make sure it's pretty darn close to where your start and stop point is. So now you're going to put down your Mosier. and you're gonna go into top left corner. There's a button that says return. You're gonna click that, yes. From there, we're gonna clean up the shape a little bit. We're gonna click on these little lines. We don't need that. What I normally do is I'll drag it in, bring it in place, delete this one right here. This one goes, boom. We have our shape from here. That's the first step in the entire process of putting all this together with your Mosher. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the product. We're gonna add the turf that we're using. So top right corner, you select product. First, let's click what we're doing. So we're gonna normally start off with weed barrier. Pretty much a non-negotiable to include weed barrier on the projects, because if you don't, weeds will come through the turf. Yes, if they have 5 or 6 dogs, it's not always recommended for a weed barrier because it will absorb some of the urine smell, but for the sake of longevity and less callbacks, I'd recommend the weed barrier and then just having them treat it with products. So you're gonna click it. Let me wipe this off. It's raining a little bit. So you're gonna click it. Once you've clicked that area, you click finish. We're gonna go up to artificial grass installation, click the area, finish. And then we're also gonna go to binder board landscape edging. Now, since this area, there's no hard concrete it's meeting up against, there's no fence, there's no pavers, it's all open. So we're gonna need to keep that base tucked in. And there's other videos on product knowledge that's essentially gonna explain why that's necessary, but we don't want the base to spill out of the turf, what's underneath the turf. Keep it tucked in, it'll last a hell of a lot longer. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do binder board, and this is essentially tracing the perimeter of the area. Okay, right there. Doesn't need to be perfect. Say you didn't like that one, top left corner, you click back. You can do that for just about anything you click on here. I didn't like that one either. Again, doesn't need to be perfect. I'm not gonna spend too much time doing this. Now, mind you, it is drizzling here, so my touchscreen is not working the absolute best. But boom, we have the weed barrier, we have the artificial grass insulation product, and we have the binder board. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna close that. We have all that set. Now from here, you're going to select the turf product that you're looking for. So you're gonna go into reports at the top here. We're gonna go into report inputs. And then of course, based off the market you're in, I'm in Atlanta. So we're gonna click Atlanta and then choose the turf product you recommended. I already ran through that in a previous video. If you don't see a specific turf listed here, you can call me and we can get it added into ArcSite, because sometimes we do get new products we add in. So let's just keep it simple. We're gonna go with Eco 72. We're gonna click done. All right, so now that added it on the back end, so I'm gonna go into reports, report inputs. We're gonna go into summary. You have to make sure everything is in line. For example, we have 256 artificial grass square footage. If you look at it and it says 120 for weed barrier at the bottom here, you made a mistake. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna go into the products and delete the previous product. Might be a little tricky to do that. If you make a mistake, give me a call, I'll walk you through it. Takes a second for me to walk you through it. So we have the artificial grass installation with Eco 72 on there. We have the binder board landscape edging on there, and we have the weed barrier. Now we're gonna go into field data. This is the component of this process that essentially gets converted to the scope of work. Basically the work order, if you will. It's so there's less headaches. So you're not quoting a job and your phone's getting blown up because you weren't clear on whatever it may be. So all that's good to go. So what I'm gonna do from here, just making sure that's in there, I'm gonna click done. And I'm gonna go ahead and start my photos. So what we like to do is we'll start with getting some access photos. So normally we expect like 8 to 10 photos, the more the better. I mean, anything more than 15 is kind of overkill, but we need to be able to, when the PM's scheduling the job, we need to see how's the access, because this is a 15-foot roll. It's heavy as heck. Bringing it, we got to figure out where it's coming from. Now, we're going to get into that more later in the training. If it's really difficult access, we got to charge for it. Just charge a little extra for the crew to figure all that out. But what we're going to do here is we're going to click photo in the bottom right, take photo. This is one of the older iPads, so it doesn't have the 0.5, but it does the trick. Done. Okay, we're gonna adjust it to the angle in which the access is. We'll add another photo. Let's do it in the middle, kind of facing that way. Boom. Now, I'm not going to spend too long doing the photos. Not necessary for the sake of this video. But yes, you're going to want to get photos of all the different angles. So you have the photos. So basically what you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to add some details. I know it's meticulous and you want to sometimes get through it quick, but the details matter. It separates you from other contractors. It makes it easier for the work order. All right, so what we're going to do is bottom right, we're going to click annotate. And you can use this for anything. Say we have stepping stones coming through. Say there's a tree over here and we're doing edging. You're just going to annotate, put basically a note of what's going on in this photo or in this rendering. So for here, we're going to do the landscape edging. So I'll grab the note, click the area, drag it out, and type in Bender board around the entire perimeter is not necessary, only if there's not a hard surface the turf is meeting up to. In this instance, there's not. You want to keep the turf essentially from, the base coming out because there is a bit of a slope here. So we're going to keep that. We got that note. That looks good. So boom. And here we're going to go into click reports at the top, report inputs. And in this portion, the field data is the most important for the portion of the crew, right? So we're going to go back to summary. We had 256 square feet. Field data, we'll type in 256. There's only one area, so we're just going to type that once. Scroll down through here. Capping sprinklers. Now, these components, you don't necessarily have to memorize all these questions. You're answering questions. So you're not going to be going through this portion with the customer. There are certain questions you're going to ask them. And when you're running through here, you can maybe if they've already gone inside, pull them back out or make a safe assumption. First one, for example, capping sprinklers. If they're sprinklers, the best practice long-term is to cap the sprinklers off. Now, say they have a bunch of dogs, or this is a commercial, dog park, Newtown Park, for example, and over in Roswell, Johns Creek area. They probably have sprinklers there, so you just cut the turf around it, and the purpose of the sprinklers is it sprays the area, pushes any urine through. Do it every couple weeks, kind of as needed to help with the smells. I don't have sprinklers back here, so we're going to say no existing sprinklers. Don't have any drains. Grading, we're going to keep the grading as is. I like that it's got a little natural slope. Water will run off this way, less kind of sitting water for those heavy rains. Keep grade as is. Weed barrier, yes. Removing plants and trees doesn't apply here. We're not removing anything, but you're going to account for that. If there is trees to be removed, that's just something where you'd add a couple $100 for X amount of trees. And there's products that you go in here and you'd select that. Are there any windows near the turf? No. But that being said, if you are installing turf and there's a window above it, and say the window was installed, I don't know, anything past 1995, there's a good chance that it's going to have a low E coating on the glass. And the purpose of a low E coating, without spending too much time talking about it, is the sun hits the window, the low E coating reflects the sun, so the heat doesn't get in, better for energy efficiency. Where's that heat going? That sun hitting the turf. So if you're in a component where there's windows right above the turf, there's a good chance it'll probably burn the turf and create some issues there. So that's just a conversation you have to have with the customer. Let them know it's a possibility. You don't want to scare them away from doing the project, but there's always there's companies that specialize in putting a film up that prevents that. So you can just bring it up to them, say, hey, there's companies that specialize in it. It's not the end of the world. All right, now we're going to add the turf product. We had put Eco 72 in there. So that's the turf product we're going to select. Visible roots in the installation area, yes. I mean, we have a few small ones. Something like this, when they're doing the demo, they can just pop that in and pop that out, or pull that out of the ground, essentially cut into it. A few roots over here. If you have bigger roots, like I have a larger root right here, they'll probably try to cut as much as they can to remove it. If it's a huge root, that's obviously something you got to give me or the project manager a call and say, hey, I need some, what do I price out to remove this if it's big root, like kind of outside of the norm. Infill type, we specified antimicrobial. Square foot for gopher wire. We don't have any gophers or moles, so we're going to put 0. You're going to want to add that. It's in the product tab. If they do have moles, very common thing in Georgia, look out for that, because if you don't price it and there's turf is sinking in a couple areas a few years down the road, they call us, we're the bad guy because we say, hey, that's outside of the labor warranty. We don't cover for moles. You want to try to price it out to avoid it, right? So linear feet of edging, I'm going to pop back to summary. 64. Oh, it left me. 64. Now again, this is all simple information I'm putting here. The standard installation process is 3 to 4 inches of removal of soil or sod, whatever is there, and 3 to 4 inches of our base. For instance, in California, it's a class 2 road base. Georgia, we use like 3 inches of a crusher run and 1 inch of sand on top, compact it down. So approximate removal amount, 3 to 4. Road base, 3 to 4. Glue down, no. That would be for doing this like inside, like a gym or something. Just a glue down, no. Access, I'm gonna say it's easy, only because there is an access where they can walk around here. If it's difficult, you're going to want to specify that and you're going to want to charge for that. Project notes, just double down on this. It's very important to have notes in here. But the only one I'm going to include is binner board around outside perimeter. Okay, did you take photos of installation areas and access? I did. Boom. So now your quote is officially done in ArcSight. Now what we can do is, if you put this together and you're like, hey, I got to run to my next appointment, or whatever time crunch you may or may not be on, at the top here you can click reports and you can click create proposal. From there, essentially, we can go through the different line items and you could say, hey, this is basically just a mock proposal, a mock quote. This is going to be your walk out the door price. I mean, you can kind of get into it more detail, like, hey, obviously you're not going to lead with a discount, but you can discount it from here. Of course, not going to get into the whole spiel of how you present it. That's going to be on you. But the expectation is to read through the quote with them, say everything that's included, tell them the price, and then go from there. Now, something I noticed that I did not include was the antimicrobial infill. Doesn't look like it's in here. I'm going to double check. Good thing I looked at the proposal presentation, because I never would have caught that. So you just simply click products over here, click the area. Well, first you'll click the antimicrobial, click the area, finish, done, right? Let me go over to report inputs. So that added about $126, 100% worth it. Don't do that as optional. If they have dogs, 100% include it. Let's see, then we're gonna go into create proposal. You got it all in there. Okay, so I showed you how to put everything together. Really, I mean, there are ways you can clean it up. Like I'll typically click on the area, because if there's a bunch of, you have a bunch of writing on top of one another, you can click and delete it. Those are things that you're not gonna have to study right now, how to do all of that. It's just gonna take repetition. The primary things are the Mosier products, everything I just went through, all the meticulous details you'll get better at. You can give me a call, I'll walk you through it. Next step from here is we're going to publish it. We're going to push it to Jobber. ArcSight's the rendering and product quoting software. Jobber is the presentation where we invoice and email it to them. This is the final step to getting it over to Jobber. Now, we have all of it put together. You have the rendering, you have the photos. I'll kind of show you what the scope of work looks like. I mean, you went through it. So I'm going to show you what the PDF looks like, and this is how we get it pushed to Jobber. This is very, very important in the process. So we're going to click reports at the top, export other reports, PDF from a template. You got all this. You're going to click next in the top right. Right. It's going to export customer proposal, generating a report, downloading a report. And then from there, you see this is the scope of work that the crew sees. This is very important. It's got the ArcSight all in there. It's got the specs, the measurements, the photos. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Top left, we're going to click done. This is very important. Do you want to push this proposal to Jobber? Yes. If you don't click yes, you're not going to see it in Jobber. Boom. Yes. So now I will double check Turf Bros client. Let's see if it's in there. Let's go to work. Excellent. Now it is in there. Now we have all of the specs put in there. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go inside. It's raining for me right now. Typically you'd go in your car, or you can do this from the backyard where you'll type all this up, just email it to the customer. I'm gonna go inside and do it on my computer because it is, like I said, it is raining out here. But I do want to slowly walk you through the next steps and how to email it and how to present it.